How's everybody doing? This is Danny, the Old Dog Guitars. I posted a video a couple of nights ago, a short on YouTube, and a couple of reels. I was practicing a song on this Les Paul Classic. It's a 2018 Les Paul Classic with P90s, and I don't know if it's a factory installed or a Guitar Center installed Bigsby. It's got the Vibramate, so there weren't any extra holes drilled, which is nice. Pretty cool guitar. I was complaining about how noisy the P90s were and had quite a few comments from people telling me I had a grounding issue. One guy said something about that's a ground loop. I'm pretty convinced anybody that uses the term ground loop doesn't know what a ground loop is. I've read enough about ground loops to know that most of us have probably never experienced a ground loop. I'd say the worst grounding issue I ever experienced was on a parts caster I built, and it took me hours to figure out what was wrong. I had wired the output jack up backwards. Just a really silly mistake, but it was really throwing me. And the way I figured out what it was, I thought maybe my cable was bad. So I unplugged my cable and plugged a wireless in, and all of a sudden the problem went away. The problem went away because the wireless wasn't grounding the same way the cable was. Once I figured that out, reversed my wires on my output jack, problem went away. When I first started messing with guitars, I went through all kinds of crazy crap with foil tape and trying to create a protected environment for all the electronics in a guitar, thinking that was going to solve the problem. No, not going to have any hum, not going to have any noise. And Dylan on Dylan Talks Tone they were about 2 years old. A couple of really good videos on guitar noise and shielding. He's a little in your face with his opinions sometimes, but he's usually right too. So you can't create enough protection to make up for the fact that these pickups are sticking out of the guitar, and that's where most of your noise is coming from. Those coils of wire in the pickup work as radio frequency receivers, and any radio frequency noise that's in the air is going to come through those pickups. It's I would say the vast majority of the time it's not coming from your power source. I'm not saying it can't, but normally it's not coming from where you're plugged into the wall or how you've got your power cord run to the wall. When I was upstairs, I've got an apartment upstairs above the office and workshop here. I was upstairs on my little living room rig. It's a little Fender X2. I don't hook pedals or anything up to it. It's just sitting next to my couch for me to pluck around on when I'm sitting there. No noise gate, anything like that. There are 3 air conditioning condenser units right outside the back of that apartment. If one or more of those is running, I'm going to get radio frequency interference coming through the guitar. There's just no way around it. I guess I could, shut the air conditioner off and sweat, but here in Oklahoma it gets pretty hot, so that's not a great idea. So tonight I got this same guitar out, opened the back cover up to show it's just stock Gibson wiring. There's nothing fancy about it. There's no shielding on the cover plate. They've got that metal plate under the control pots, which I suspect probably does provide some shielding, because what shielding does, when it's done correctly, it works as an antenna to collect that radio frequency interference and send it to ground. So on a Strat or a Tele, if you shield the back of the pick guard, and cover as many square inches as you can, and then make sure that that shielding is connected to ground, you're going to eliminate a lot of hum. You're going to eliminate a lot of noise. You don't have to create a Faraday cage around everything. As Dylan says, it's kind of ridiculous. But just creating a competing antenna to attract and disperse some of that radio frequency noise that's coming through the air, so that the pickups aren't getting all of it. I'm plugged into a NUX amp simulator pedal right now. I've got the volume up on the way on this guitar, and I'm not really getting much hum. I'm downstairs, I'm far away from those air conditioning condensers. It's kind of late in the evening, so I don't think anything's running right now anyway. There's just not a lot of radio frequency noise going on in this location right now. I can put it just on the bridge pickup. There's nothing there. Let me switch to something with a little more output on it. And you're getting guitar noise. There's just not a lot of hum. There's a little. I'm sure there's a little. You probably put it in the middle position. So I noticed while I was editing the video that the hum's a lot more noticeable on the actual audio track that I recorded. I'm not able to monitor that really well when I'm talking, so I didn't hear it that clearly when I had the guitar in my lap. The other thing I noticed was you can clearly hear the hum difference when I touch the strings versus when I'm not touching the strings. And that really demonstrates the impact of having a big radio frequency antenna connected to ground. Because when you touch the bridge or the guitar strings, people will say that you've got a grounding issue, but it's the opposite of that. What's happening is when you touch the strings or the bridge, you're connected to ground, and it gets quieter because you've just gathered all of this radio frequency interference from the air and sent it to ground. It's no longer going to the pickups, it's going to ground, just like it's supposed to. Reduce a little bit of it, but not noticeably, not that I can really hear. I've got everything cranked. I would say the majority of the time the hum you hear is not caused by the guitar. It's not caused by your power source. It's not caused by your amp. It's radio frequency interference that's coming through the air. And some of that stuff is beyond your control. Anything that's got a power transformer in it is going to leak electromagnetic energy. And that electromagnetic energy is going to go somewhere. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that and show off this guitar a little bit. This is I rarely get this out and play it. I've usually got a Telecaster somewhere near my little practice rig, but I needed something with a trim on it. And this, other than the Strats that I've got, this is the most reliable trim system I've got, other than this Floyd Rose on this Schecter guitar right here. This works like a charm. It's smooth, it holds tune. It's a pretty cool guitar. It's got Grover locking tuners. I don't know if those came from Guitar Center like that, but they look pretty original. It's a nice guitar. It's a shame that I don't get it out and play it more often, because it plays well. It's a boat anchor with this Bigsby on it. It weighs about 11 pounds. So it's definitely no joke. Oh, by the way, I was going to say, I wish I could play it. I wanted to show you some sounds and demonstrate the noise. I got my injection in my trigger finger yesterday afternoon, it's helped a lot. I'm really got my other fingers crossed, kind of hoping that this does the trick. I've got a lot more movement. I'm not catching like I was. I've got some stiffness still from that injection and some soreness, so I don't have a whole lot of mobility in this hand. So I'm not going to be playing guitar a lot, but hopefully within a few days I'll know if this is going to do the trick. So if you're having some grounding issues, you're having hum, check your environment. I think probably first thing is ask yourself, does this happen all the time, or does it just happen sometime and in some places? The room that you're in might be close to some electromagnetic interference that's causing a lot of the noise. I can't remember who it was, I saw talking about a show. It was Steve Lukather talking about doing a show, and I guess they were having horrible noise problems that night. And sometimes you can't control the venue, you can't control the environment. I know a guy that plays at a restaurant and club 6 nights a week, and he's just a solo act. He'll play some acoustic guitars and some clean electric guitars. He sings pretty low-key stuff. It's kind of a nice establishment, so he's not rocking or anything like that. He has to be really careful what instruments he takes, because there's a lot of ambient radio frequency interference in the environment. He's got a guitar with a set of these EMG pickups like I've got on this Strat back here, and for whatever reason, what's in that environment, those pickups seem to be tuned perfectly to capture that noise, because he can't even play it there. I just say, don't always believe everything you hear on the internet, because a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. Look for people that seem to understand, and I tell you, whether you like him or not, I think Gillen's dead on with his talk about noise and shielding. I have followed his advice since I saw those videos, and I've eliminated the problems that I previously had with noise and hum. And I used to go to all kinds of trouble trying to eliminate it, not understanding where it was really coming from. Hope everybody has a good night. Let me know what you've experienced with noise and shielding. I was going to say, one of the other problems I had was, I used to try to put so much shielding in control cavities. Telecasters are terrible because there's not a lot of room in there anyway. And you end up grounding stuff out and creating problems that you didn't need to create by putting too much shielding in a guitar where it doesn't need to be. This guitar has essentially no shielding. There's no shielding paint in the pickup cavities. Nobody went to any extra effort to eliminate noise on this guitar, and yet if you're in a quiet environment, there's not much noise to be had. If you're in a radio frequency noisy environment, there's going to be a ton of noise. These pickups are huge, and they're going to capture anything that's floating around in the air. Thanks a lot. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it. Hope to see you guys soon.